Hey, Neil Carlson here with some breaking news. Brian Faison, athletic director, is supposed to be out here in a bit. But here's a news release just released. Deep budget cuts force UND to eliminate 3 varsity sports after the academic year. UND announced the discontinuance of its men's baseball and golf programs in the prior fiscal year. That it will discontinue varsity women's hockey and men's and women's swimming and diving programs effective at the end of the 2016-17 academic year, as part of the university's ongoing budget restructuring efforts. The continuance of the men's golf program is contingent upon its successful fundraising efforts. All right. Again, UND has announced following the discontinuance of its men's baseball and golf programs in the prior fiscal year, that it will discontinue its varsity women's hockey and men and women's swimming and diving programs effective at the end of the 2016-17 academic year, as part of the university's ongoing budget restructuring efforts.
I will introduce Athletic Director Brian Faison here shortly, but a quick rundown of how we'll do things. Brian will come up and make some opening remarks, and then he will take questions from the media while at the podium. Once he's finished taking questions from the podium, we'll break off. Excuse me. And Brian and President Kennedy will be available for your one-on-one interview requests. Just track down myself or Peter Johnson. Where's Peter at? Right here in the front, and we'll make sure we make that happen for you. So with that, I will introduce the Athletic Director at the University of North Dakota, Mr. Brian Faison.
Let me first apologize for us being a little late getting started here. We just came back from meeting with the team and the head coaches. So this is a day that I had hoped to never revisit, but we are here, and it's a sad day when opportunities for student athletes are again being reduced. Today we're going to be announcing formally, you've already got the press releases, that we're discontinuing the women's ice hockey program and men's and women's swimming and diving programs as part of the university's mandated budget restructurings. The decision being made was reached upon President Kennedy's budget reduction instructions, conference sports sponsorship requirements for both the Big Sky and the Summit League, Title IX compliance, additional Summit League sponsor scholarship requirements, and the ability to reinvest in championship programs. UND will honor all athletic scholarships for discontinued sports at present equivalencies for returning student athletes, and we're addressing anything we can do to assist anyone who wants to transfer. So with that being said, I will open it up for questions.
You envision down the road that UND will have to develop more partnerships, private business, advertising, so on and so forth, to keep funding going for the sport program?
Every year that I've been here, those areas have increased, but obviously keeping pace with costs and issues with changing conference affiliations and how things have escalated in the athletic business, particularly on our side with Division I transition. It's always a challenge, and we've got to keep growing those areas. The challenge is continuing to grow those revenue sources. But we've had records every year in fundraising, we've had records in ticket sales, we've had records in sponsorships, but we still can't get there.
Did you look at any other programs for possible cuts? I mean, I guess, can you explain to folks why women's varsity hockey was cut?
At the end of the day, we had the $1.3 million figure that was there to meet the state mandated reduction for the university. And then we had to deal with conference alignment situations because the Summit League is a different situation for us. And even though we'll save money, in the meantime, there's some cost issues that go into the Summit League with increased scholarships. So, for example, we've got to have 7 sports that are 85% scholarshiped. And so 5 sports have to be brought up, so we had to reinvest, find a way to reinvest those dollars. We're also, as we said, we're concerned about compliance issues and making sure that from a competitive equity standpoint, we're where we need to be, and also from a Title IX compliance perspective, where we need to be as well. And last but not least is we want to make sure that we have the opportunity, as we can, to reinvest in championship programs to make sure we sustain the successes that we've seen this year. He was talking about the Title IX Council. He walked us through a review of our scenarios to make sure that our numbers were the numbers, making sure that we had addressed all the different elements of Title IX, the three prongs, and going through that process, Tom. So he was basically there to check us on all of our facts and figures and numbers, and make some minor suggestions on maybe some things we want to take a look at. But basically, he was a majorly cross-check on numbers to make sure we were looking at the right things.
Do you think this cycle will end this year, or you just have to wait and see what happens with the North Dakota economy and budget? I mean, are you hoping you don't have to do this again next year?
Well, we're down to 17 or 18 sports, depending on what happens for men's golf. So we're 16 is the number, and you can't go below that. So we're not going to be entertaining that. We'll have to find some other. If we have to deal with another hit, I'm not sure what we'll do, but that won't be an answer. Not really, George, but I'll do it. Yes, sir. That'll be the end of this academic year. The programs are officially done, and we've already talked to the conference commissioners, and we've done all those issues so they can get forward with their scheduling issues moving forward. Obviously, women's ice hockey being the one most impacted from a scheduling standpoint. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Brian. We will now break off for one-on-one interviews with Brian and President Kennedy. I know there are a lot of non-media folks here. We just ask that we let Brian and President Kennedy get their interview requests taken care of first so our media friends can do their jobs and be on their way. So thank you, everyone, for coming.